Today I wanted to share a little bit of my character design process. In this case though, it's more like outfit design because I already drew headshots just to get a feel for the characters' faces. And I already knew what body types I wanted to give them, so yeah, just kind of costume design actually. But I hope it's still kind of fun to watch. These are characters from my NaNoWriMo novel that I'm going to be writing in November. I've talked a little bit about the world in my other speed paints, the Gods series, but basically to summarize those quickly, there were 8 gods, 2 of them got together and sealed the other 6 around the world, and the humans don't know this. They think all the gods are working together happily. Just watch the other speed paints for more info about each god and what they do. Anyway, this is going to be a fantasy story, so I went all out making the world fantastical. It's not a huge world, there's like 2 continents that are kind of connected, and some islands dotting the world, but small islands. One of the continents, or countries, Fernhelion, is in near constant daylight, and the other, Lacus Mare, is in near constant darkness. Because of this, different fashions developed in both. This first character is one of the main characters, Clover. She lives in Fernhelion, where earth and jewel tones are popular in fashion, like very natural colors and kind of light fabrics because it's usually warmer. Not extremely hot though. In Lacus Mare, I sort of imagined like a cross between fantasy clothes and raver neon glowing Tron-esque clothes. So in the story she goes there and gets another set of clothes that are basically the opposite of these. But I didn't design those today. For now, I just wanted to do like quick sketchy designs to get an idea of these characters' normal styles, as opposed to like a full wardrobe. I think she turned out looking like a strawberry shortcake character in the second one. I'm a little obsessed, honestly. I love strawberry shortcake. She's got a cute style. You can tell she's on the young side, but it's not entirely impractical. As for her character, her story is that when she was 7, her older brother disappeared the morning after a festival, and she believes he was kidnapped because it would be very out of character for him just to leave. So when she's older, she sets out to try to find him. The only real clue she has is a black feather. She's a really caring and hard-working girl who loves her family, and honestly, she just really looked up to her brother, and he was her favorite person. So she's been kind of lonely, but she never really gave up hope on finding him, and decided to go for it the moment she was old enough. And here's her missing brother, Juniper. I'm not gonna say what happened to him just yet, but he's 8 years older than Clover. He's very book smart and practical. He was aspiring to study and become the royal librarian at the castle. The day of the festival, before he disappeared, instead of just wanting to be at the festival, he was at his part-time job at the local library. The head librarian basically had to shoo him out, and Clover had to beg him to come with her and their parents because he really didn't care for partying. He was like one of those teens that's like a little pretentious and like, I'm above partying, I don't have time, I need to study. And their parents were supportive of him, of course, but even they were like, come on, take your little sister out and have some fun. Like, some fresh air should do you some good, you know? Like, you have plenty of time to live a little and relax for the evening. He's also a little awkward and kind of prefers books to people. This next character is Prince Aspen. I was so focused on doing the line art and detailing, I forgot to record it, and I'm kind of mad about that. Because out of all the line art and detailing, his design is my absolute favorite in that department. Anyway, the first outfit I do is sort of his ceremonial princely outfit, and the second one is normal casual wear. His father is the king of Fernhelion, and Aspen is the youngest child. His older sister is married to the princess of Lacus Mare for political reasons. I'll get to her in a bit. But Prince Aspen is about 2 years younger than Clover, and he's got a lot of pressure on him, even aside from being the next heir to the kingdom. In this world, every 200 years, the Soul God and the Lunar God choose a champion, each called Quasars, and these Quasars have 20 years to meet in battle. They cannot die until that point, only by each other's hand deliberately. The reason is that the gods need fuel to keep the world running, and human souls are the most powerful source of that fuel. That's what the legends say, at least. It's considered a huge honor, and even after the Quasars die, it's said that they get to join the gods in their realm. They're marked with a symbol on their hand, which I haven't designed yet, so you don't see that in the speed paint. But from the point when the mark appears, they have 20 years to train and prepare. And the prince is one of these Quasars this time around. He's expected to win, of course, because the kingdom needs an heir, and being the son of the king, he has the best resources to train and prepare. He's always been elevated by everyone around him, like, oh, the gods favor you, you're so special. And that combined with this huge pressure has done numbers on his mental state, as you can imagine. He's known to be difficult, to say the least, like kind of a brat and mean to castle staff. He goes through personal staff so fast, even his dad is starting to get fed up with him about it. So the king tells him, hey, I'm sending you off to train with the best witch, which are called wonder workers, in the country, so pack your bags, you're going to live in the woods for the summer. Which is where he meets Clover, who got an apprenticeship with the same lady through hard work rather than princely nepotism. And the only people his age he's ever met are people his father deemed acceptable, so like upper class people. So Clover is the first person to kind of not kiss the ground he walks on. She's just there to get good at magic, to use it to help her in her journey to find her brother. She doesn't really have time for Aspen or his dramatics, which is exactly the type of person he needs to be around, honestly. The next character is Alouette, who lives with the same wonder worker Clover and Aspen are training with. They're also a wanted fugitive. Remember how I said Clover's only clue to find her brother was a black feather? Yeah, the prince has had several unsuccessful kidnapping attempts happen to him throughout his life too, and there were always black feathers left behind. So Alouette is the name the royal guard gave to the mystery person who kept trying to take him, and it kind of spread, so that's what the news outlets and media call them. Wings are not like a thing people have in this world. Like, I know it's fantasy, but wings are not normal for people, so it's assumed some kind of magic went wrong. In another video, I'll go more into depth about how the magic system works, but yeah, that's the assumption. Anyway, Alouette loves the fun little name and goes by it, and Aloe for short. Clover and Aspen are ready to fight them at any given time when they first meet because they both have a lot of questions and assumptions, most of which are wrong, but Aloe loves hearing them and revels in the misunderstandings. They're a very chaotic person, just thriving. The next characters are the princesses of Lakis Mare, Prince Aspen's sister, Saros, and her wife Cassiopeia. They had an arranged marriage to strengthen political relations, but they always grew up seeing each other when their parents met to discuss like trade and policies, and they were around the same age, so they'd kind of sneak off and play together. So they were already friends, and they're not really opposed to the marriage. Princess Cassiopeia has two older siblings, and it's assumed that her oldest sister will take the throne after their parents. So these two don't even really have as much responsibility to worry about. A lot of the time they're just hanging out and having fun. And their first outfits are my idea of the regular fashion in Lakis Mare. Well, maybe like a more fancy version of regular fashion. And the second is their more princessly outfits. Since it's almost always night there, they use a lot of neons, reflective materials, and bioluminescent stuff, along with like artificial lights everywhere. So neon clothes are pretty common. So these two have a pretty nice, chill life together. But if Prince Aspen was to die in the fight with the other Quasar, Prince Saros would have to come back to Fernhelion and take the throne instead of him, and she really doesn't want to do that. Like, she loves her wife, and she loves her life in Lakis Mare. I mean, Cassiopeia would come with her if that happened, and probably would be fine with it. Like, she'd understand it's part of her wife's duties as princess, but they'd both prefer to stay in Lakis Mare for sure. Also, they wear matching outfits pretty much all of the time. and coordinate with each other, and I think that's so cute and absolutely couple goals. Azaleon, or Leon for short, and Cooper are Prince Aspen's personal guards. They very recently got appointed to this position from just being castle guards because Prince Aspen kept being so difficult it led to the others quitting or begging for reassignment. These two are accompanying him to the cabin where he'll be training for the summer, so just leaving him or quitting halfway isn't really an option. They're going to be stuck in the middle of the woods with him all summer. So, Leon seems like the optimist, and Cooper seems like a serious grouch when you first meet them. But honestly, they're both pretty decent people. Cooper just has some severe RBF as his default expression, and has trouble expressing his emotions outwardly. He's kind of a quiet guy, but he's never mean. He's a realist and can be deadpan, but he's actually pretty smart. Leon, on the other hand, is that guy who's up at like 5 a.m. every morning and is just way too chipper so early. Like, we all know that guy. He never really has anything bad to say about anyone, and he never really has any complaints. Like, he's the most optimistic guy you could possibly meet. And this gets on Prince Aspen's last nerve. Like, he'll be trying to annoy them, and nothing makes either of them bothered. The prince could point out that there's no point in having bodyguards since he's a Quasar and can't die by anyone's hands except for the other Quasar, and Cooper would just be like, yeah, they might want you for hostage money, but if they need that, I've got plenty of savings, I'll just give it to them. And Leon's like, yeah, don't even worry though, your highness, like, we're well trained, we can take care of it. And Aspen's just ripping his hair out like, no, I meant you're useless. And Cooper is so deadpan, he'd be like, well, we aren't actually useless. We can both do a lot outside of this job. And he could just start listing things they're good at, and Leon's just over there, like, genuinely concerned the prince needs a tutor for manners more than he's insulted, because, like, at his age, the prince should know that in his position, he needs to set a good example and be well behaved in front of his subjects. And, like, he'll genuinely chide the prince about it, and Prince Aspen hates everything about this situation. It's very fun. Lastly, here's Clover and Aspen's teacher, the wonder worker named River. She's known for being one of the most powerful wonder workers because she can use every type of magic, which, again, I'll get more into in another video, but she can use all of them, and she's written books on the subject of magic, and every year she takes on 2 students in the summer to train and to pass knowledge on to, and she's generally just very smart. She has kind of a gothic aesthetic color scheme going on, which isn't unheard of in Fernhelion, but it's definitely more common in Lakis Mare. But she's well traveled, so she probably picked that up when she was like younger and traveling through there. She even trained the king back in the day. She's just very highly revered and in demand all of the time. So, you know, her time management skills are great. So, for someone in such a good position in life, it seems out of character for her to be harboring a fugitive like Aloe. But she's no idiot. Like, she's very clever, and she does actually have a good reason in the end. Anyway, here's the headshots and the final outfits. I say final, but knowing me, I'll go back and change these and tweak them. These characters were originally made back when I was like 17. They've changed a lot, and I'm excited to be finally doing something with them for NaNoWriMo and exploring how all their stories intertwine. It's fun for me to do messier designs like these, because when I'm doing art for others, like commissions, I try to make them as clean as possible. But since this is for my own use, I didn't really mind letting them be messy, and that's nice for me. I do feel like the type of clothes characters wear can inform you about personality, social standing, and the world they live in, so I hope I did a good job showing that. And if you're interested in these characters or story at all, I'm writing a novel for them in November. It'll be free to read as I publish each chapter if you want to. The link for the profile is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye! Oh, by the way, if you watch this far, these are the first iterations of the characters I uploaded to my old, now inactive DeviantArt account 7 years ago. Um, I was 17 in my defense. Several of these characters have been cut from the story, and they've all changed names and personalities except for Alouette. Cooper used to be a half werewolf, half vampire hybrid. Miss Frida sort of got cut. I think the closest to her is Cassiopeia now, but in the original, I don't think Aspen had a sister. Frida was going to be Clover, or Irene back then's, love interest. Clover had a very serious personality. Aspen was called Rudon because I wanted people to have a mean nickname for him, like Prince Rude or the Rude Prince. But you know what? I'm more of an adult now. Most all of the characters from Fernhelion have nature-related names, and Prince Aspen can shorten into a much funnier insult now.